Teen pregnancy is prevalent amongst foster care youth just as it is among a lot of youth in America. I mean, the U.S. has the highest rate of teen pregnancy and birth in the entire industrialized world. For people who work every day on the issue of preventing teen pregnancy, there's always been an understanding that certain groups of young people are at greater risk, and foster care youth would be among those. I suspect that what the U.S. public doesn't really know in the foster care community on this issue is really how prevalent it is. I'm not saying people don't suspect that maybe foster care youth have babies the way many teens do in this country, but I don't think they realize that the level is about 2.5 times that of young women who are not in foster care. I mean, this is a major, major issue.
When you look at teen parents in the foster care system, you find, in essence, an invisible population of youngsters that are in the system that came in because of safety issues, and now they have some added issues of becoming young parents at an early age. The foster care system is not ready today to address their particular needs. So becoming a young parent at a point where they themselves are preparing for a significant transition in their lives just complicates the likelihood that these youngsters will be successful once they leave foster care.
We know that at least a quarter of young people who have one pregnancy have a repeat pregnancy within 24 months. We know that about 80% of pregnant and parenting females end up going on welfare. For males, they end up earning less than their peers who are not teen fathers. They certainly have less schooling. And when we look at those who are at risk, we know that young people who are in foster care and aging out of foster care are a very vulnerable population, and those who are pregnant and parenting are even more vulnerable. Their statistics are even higher in terms of the percentage who have pregnancies, the percentage who have repeat pregnancies. It creates a cycle of poverty, a cycle of disadvantage that we really want to stop.
Right here. Turn right here.
From my experience, I think the reason why I was getting pregnant is because I didn't have a family, and I felt like, you know, my baby's father, maybe we can make a family and it'll be different.
Oh, not again. Oh. Mama, I'm getting a little stuck. Okay. Do it matter what the middlest number mean too?
Yeah.
Oh. So that's one first.
484, 448. You know your child is going to love you no matter what. And it's having something you never had. You know, if you never had a mother or a father in your life, you feel like having that child is going to be your best friend. But just because you have a child does not mean that you're going to be with the father, first off. That's for the mothers. And that at some point you have to stop the cycle, repeating the cycle of, you know, your family being in care. What is positive about being a single parent living in poverty? Nothing. Oh, you're pregnant, that is so cute. It's not cute for a 17-year-old that's in foster care to have a child. You're gonna struggle and you're gonna repeat the cycle and you're gonna be more stressed out because you have a child taken away from you, or you haven't finished your high school diploma or GED and now you're stuck with a child. I don't see anything positive that you can say. You're starting your own family, but how are you going to take care of your family?
The reason why kids in care have children of their own at young ages is to fill a void. It's to fill a gap. A lot of kids go through a lot of emotional abuse, physical abuse. A lot of kids are molested and raped, so that leads to difficulties forming relationships later on in life. For a youth who is lonely, they would feel more susceptible to become pregnant, to have that one person who cared about them. We're just recycling a cycle that hasn't been effective. We're creating what used to be known as second generation poverty, and we're spinning it into third and fourth generation poverty.
Young people in group foster care, particularly that we've worked with, have not had a lot of adults in their lives they could trust, have been in vulnerable situations where they weren't protected, and they're looking for affection and love and stability and a type of family they haven't had in their growing up years so far. If we want to reduce sexual risk-taking behavior among young people, we need to also be looking at how does that happening in the adult population? Where are young people getting their messages? Where are they getting their information? If we're not providing good quality programs and experiences and opportunities during school, during out-of-school time for these young people, they're providing it on their own. They need people who can speak up and speak out on their behalf and who can help them speak out on their own.
I think society at large needs to understand that there is a completely different dynamic when you're talking about foster care youth. If social service providers met the young people where they were, with the community networks in their neighborhoods, talking to the elected officials, then ultimately we will be preventing pregnancy. But we can't just stop there. We also have to fulfill those needs that are lacking. You can't just get the message out there without providing them with an alternative, an alternate way of living, that will ultimately reduce pregnancy.
We got to talk to these kids. I mean, there's this, it's like something we don't talk about, and you don't want to talk to kids about it, and kids don't like to talk to grown-ups about it. And, there's all sorts of discomfort around even discussing it, whereas discussing it really is necessary first step. Caseworkers need to talk to foster parents, and foster parents need to talk to kids, and caseworkers need to talk to kids. And kids talking to kids, I think, is a huge part of addressing this issue, because kids who have been there and done that can be far more persuasive than any of the rest of us on what the consequences are, and yes, it can happen to you.
Although my experience with the peers are, I'm happy I had my child and everything, I wouldn't suggest having a child at all, period. To struggle yourself and bring another human being in this world to look after and just to make sure that they grow up with the armor that you need to live in this world and survive, installing in them everything that you know. You're their teacher, so you have to teach them. And if you're a teenager yourself, how can you teach them when you still need to be taught?